Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LA probate expert, and I'm really excited to have today a lady who I met last month in Los Angeles. She's all over the place doing all kinds of exciting stuff. She's going to share that with us. Jen Maldonado. Jen, how you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you, Bill?
Doing great. Monday morning, got my cup of coffee, and I'm on the phone with you, superstar. So tell me, first off, where do we find you today? I know you travel back and forth across the country. Where are you at today?
Today I'm in Austin, Texas. I just came back from San Diego, where we were meeting with some amazing people pitching deals about different projects. And then Phoenix, Arizona, where I have probably 4 projects right now.
Nice. And I know that your byline on our Zoom says that the art of raising capital for real estate. So is that something that you're teaching people to do, or you are raising capital looking for investors? What's your primary focus?
My primary focus is actually to raise capital, although I have to extend myself to teaching the art of raising capital because I needed
Right.
people to come on board and help me
Right.
based on the demand of what we're
Right.
doing. So
Right.
yes. Yeah.
Well, good. And so raising capital for, and then what's your primary, I know that some of these answers because we've talked before, but just for the, and you spoke in Los Angeles about a month ago, I think, or 2 months ago. But give me the focus. What's your primary focus you're raising capital for? What kind of product?
So right now, I'm just raising capital for any hotels that we can turn either into multifamily or extended stay hotels. It's been
Oh,
the asset that I'm focusing on right now, and some development projects of 3 and 4 units, which is still in high demands in metro areas like Los Angeles and other places like Austin, Texas, and Houston.
did your fund segment the 3 and 4 units from the hotels, or is it a mixed fund with all your activities?
No, I segment that differently. Yes, I do different funds for these projects depending what it is. I do have an upcoming project that will allow us to put these type of assets together, it will give us better leverage, better liquidity, and even better cash flow.
So let's talk about the properties that you're buying that you're converting. You're buying hotels that you're converting to apartments or long stays. So is that a significant value add when you buy those? Is there a lot of improvements you have to make to reconfigure the property, or is it a fairly simple fix?
Yeah, for extended stay hotels, I specialize in economic extended stay. So when we do that transition, the transition is not a huge hotel. I mean, a huge budget to transfer this hotel from a regular hotel to extended stay. I like the light rehabs, especially with the increase on costs of materials, labor. I prefer to keep it simple. So we do a minimum rehab between 500,000 to 1.5 million dollars per hotel when we are doing that transition. And I'm just buying over 80 units. My sweet spot will be the 100 units. Now, when we're talking about converting into multifamily, that's a completely different monster. At
Sure.
that point, the budgets, we're looking at 2 millions up to 5 millions on conversion.
So let's go back to the hotels and extended stay. So your improvement budget's 500,000 to 1 million. You're buying 100 units. What's the typical purchase price? What's the range that you're buying them at?
So depending, right now I'm just buying in Phoenix metro area. So we are looking between 6 millions to 8 million, 8.5 millions on acquisitions for those extended stay hotels.
Got it.
But those numbers are growing really fast. Just to give
Sure.
an example, I just got on August, one of the hotels for 147 units for 8.2. We just got a BPO, and at this moment, the value came at 14 million. So it's a pretty sweet spot.
Nice.
Yeah, there's multiple factors impacting Phoenix metro area. I'm not saying this is happening everywhere. I'm just saying that we need to keep an eye on where we have these unique opportunities for a time frame, right?
Right.
Because we know it's not going to be forever, but we also know that if we can become the leaders on this market, not only we can do an equity play, we can also dominate the market in the extended state economic section.
Within a certain market area, like within
Correct, in
Phoenix,
the
for
within
example.
the market area. Yes.
So is all your current fundraising now for Phoenix, or are you also doing projects in San Diego or in Austin, or where else are you doing business?
Yes, right now I have hotels in Phoenix, Arizona metro area, New Mexico. I do have development projects in downtown LA, specifically a few in Long Beach, but I will say that those are the places I have been focusing on. I do have a couple of them being sent to me in Kansas City. I don't know if I can extend or I can have my team extend to another market because we love to do specialized markets, right?
Sure.
But right now I'm focused on Phoenix, Arizona as a main area for the extended stay hotels. And I'm planning where I'm coming to Austin with a bigger plan to do different type of development, residential mostly, in the Austin area and secondary markets.
So, and is your fund available for accredited investors only or also non-accredited investors?
It depends on the project. I prefer accredited investors, but there are some of the projects that investors have been investing with me for so long. And
Mm,
although they are not accredited yet, my goal is to help them become accredited.
sure.
So I have some friends and family that invest with me, and we develop that relationship, right? But that takes a while to develop. Mostly accredited investors, but other investors can also figure how they can work with me.
So I met you speaking, and I know that you're looking, and we talked briefly in the beginning about getting into coaching and training people who want to raise money. But I imagine that the obvious solution is they're going to raise money as part of your team and learn from you and learn kind of at your feet. And then with the idea that maybe sometime in the future they want to do it on their own, or they want to have a long-term relationship with you. So if somebody's interested in that, what's that process look like? How would somebody raise their hand and say they're interested?
Yes, yes. And just to share with you, I did a run of 30 investors where I taught them how to raise capital. Some of them, you met them where they went from 2 to 11 flips just in 1 year by learning these skills. Some of them have built a relationship in the long term. However, when I decide to do a coaching process, I do an entire application. I do have a waiting list right now of 100 people. So I
Nice.
should be rolling my
Oh,
next.
come on, Jen, let me in. Come on. Let me in the
Well,
door.
yes, we do an application process, and because I don't train people who hasn't done any kind of real estate, because I don't teach them how to
Yeah,
do real estate, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I require a little bit more experience, investors, active investors, so people who understand numbers, right? With that being said, we start there. Second is in the commitment that they have towards doing this, because they have 90 days and they establish their own goals. But most of my investors minimum raise $500,000 in matter of 45 days,
Well,
up to the $1 million in 30 days, right?
nice.
So with that being said, it's a pretty intense program. And yes, you can be kicked out of the program if you are
What?
not. Yes,
I
I'm
didn't do
happy
anything
to
wrong
reimburse
yet. You're already kicking
people.
me out. Jen, come on.
So Bill, if this is a high performance program for
Oof.
people who are really committed to do this, you're
Yep.
going to meet these people. We are amazing people. We're great people. We know what we want, but we also
Yes.
committed to deliver results. So with that being said, for me, I go deeper than any other person that do teach how to do pitch a deal or also get involved on how to raise capital, because I bring the Tony Robbins kind of training I got and
Nice.
integrate that on how do you become the person you need to become in order to be a kick-ass kind of person for the real estate investment world and raise that capital.
Wow, you just scared me right out of the whole program. Okay, so
That's on
I'm out.
purpose, on purpose.
So, well, I think there has to be a fit, and I think when I
Yes.
met you, we spoke, and then I met you in person, and saw you present. I think that you obviously are a very dynamic, charismatic, energetic woman with a great track record of success. I'm sure you have your failures along the way because you can't succeed without learning from failures. But I think that I come across a lot of people who say, "Well, what do I do? I want to learn how to raise money." I don't do it, but I do meet people along the way, and you're one of the people I felt comfortable recommending to kind of my tribe or my followers to say, "Hey, here's a lady who knows how to do this, and I'm sure it's hard work. I'm sure she moves 1,000,000 miles a minute. You better hang on and strap on and just do what she says, or I guess she'll kick you out." And my head. So I would say one last question, I guess, just to wrap up, is that obviously this is a time period. I've been in real estate for 36 years. I grew up in Southern California, where we've had a large Latino population from the beginning. I've seen that business change from maybe mostly serving itself and serving new immigrants to women like you who kind of blossoming into both successful at a major level, and at the same time an example for young women in particular trying to get into business. I have a daughter who I always struggled with good role models besides her mother for role models, and when I see something like you, I always feel like it's a great place to point young women. And so I know you speak at conferences like that, don't you, or you speak at events like that?
Yes, in fact, just to give you a little thing, I'll share with you before we move to that question. although I might not be available to share with a lot of people how to raise capital, I do have a lot of resources that I trust them that help people with less experience on how to raise capital. But then we dig in. So in case that's the case, it's not like, you know, if you come to me, you're not a good fit, I'm happy to refer to someone that might be able to help you. But at the same time, as you mentioned, I do speak in conferences. People get to know me. They ask me questions. Where do I start? You know, what do you do? I do speak in corporate events. I do speak in conference for real estate. I do speak in conference for engineers, right? Because I'm an engineer from trade.
Oh, wow.
And I share with them about the knowledge and the importance of taking your knowledge and put it in action. And to answer your questions, yes, I have become a role model in the Latino community
No
for
doubt.
a lot of women. And I'm coming, in fact, with some books in the upcoming year about courage and how you transition from the corporate world to really become an entrepreneur. But with what you have said, not only that, I wanted to take it to the next level with one of my business partners, and we create a community of women where we can meet and share knowledge, experiences, ideas for all of those women looking forward to get into real estate. So it's the kind of community that foster the growth of different women. And you can start with real estate, but it just can extend to other industries. So that group, it's REN Inspires, W Women Real Estate Network Inspires, WREN Inspires.com. And we have a lot of people there that other women can join and figure out, because they can also be a role model, an inspiration, or even a mentor or coach for them when they don't know where to go.
Well, first we interviewed Deborah Raza, who's the founder of that group previously, and I know you
Yep.
spoke with her recently. I spent most of my life before I was married longing to hang out with groups of women. I can't do that anymore, but I do recommend your program. And like I said, I met with Deborah and now with you as well. I'd love to recommend your program to that program, REN, to women getting started in real estate. So look, I know you're busy, Jen. You gave me a deadline. We went over a little bit. So thank you so much for being generous with your time. If someone wants to reach you to learn more about either the art of raising capital or getting into a program to build as a business, what would be the best way to reach you?
www.jenmaldonado, MALDONADO.com. Or they can also find me on Instagram via my name, Jennifer Maldonado, or Facebook.
Fantastic. And I'll put that in the show notes. Jen, thank you so much. Always a great meeting with you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you then. Thank you, Bill, for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.